How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Getting Jiggy with It. I'm Will, and today I'm, well, by myself, which means we must be doing an unboxing. So today we are unboxing Tiwanaku by Sit Down Games. This was provided to us after we did a should I back it or did we back it? And I basically said something to the nature of, Audrey really seems to like this. Now I'm kind of disappointed I didn't back it. And so we reached out to the publisher reached out to us. I can't remember which. We did cover their last game, Redwood, and for covering that for their Kickstarter campaign, they of course provided us a copy of Tiwanaku. That said, let's go ahead and get inside the box and see what comes in the Kickstarter edition. All right, so here we go. This is what you get. It does have a nice little slipcover on it. It's funny, I just watched the Liege of Games video, 3 things that he hates, and slipcovers is one of them. I'm kind of in that boat because same thing, I don't need my game protected. This is a beautiful slipcover, but I kind of get it. It's like, well, what's it actually doing besides protecting the box and looking pretty? But yeah, so you do get a slipcover. Like I said, it is beautiful. Got some little birds and the little pattern in it. I'll keep it on the game. I've got other games with it. But it's not something I need one way or another. So you have said Sit Down Games. Again, beautiful art on this as well. It's got that same pattern with the like lines and the same kind of patterns going on here. It is 1 to 4 players, 60 minutes, 14 and up. The back does not show what the game is, but it has a cute little llama on it. I do know that the plastic wrap that was around it with the slipcover and everything, it had a little piece of paper that went in there. So I'd imagine retail is going to have something on the back. However, I did go to my local game shop and there was a game we were looking at and there was no picture on the back of the game. So that has me asking, was that a Kickstarter copy they had gotten? Or did that company not put what the game's like on the back? Not very good for sales, but I guess every publisher does what they want to do. So these are the, do look like they're a little bit damaged. These are your screens to hide what you're doing. So beautiful art on the front of them. I think it's different art on all of them. Yep. So different art on all of them. They are a little bit bent. No big deal. They will not impact gameplay at all. What would be nice is if there was like a player aid. I always like, if you're going to have some kind of screen or something that you're giving to each player, a player aid back there would be nice. I don't know. We'll have to see when we play the game whether or not a player aid is really needed. So this is the, I was gonna say the green player, but it's not a green player. Maybe there are teams. Maybe you play on teams when you play more than 2 players. I do not know. I will have to read the rules. It has been a while since I've done this. I do remember it's an abstract strategy where you're trying to determine where things are on a map. Think Minesweeper, right? Where are the extra mines? This is similar to that. So here we go. Pachamama, Mother Earth, guides the Quechua people in their search for fertile lands. This Andean goddess brings prosperity to the families of those who profoundly worship her, and Pachamama sits on the landscape of the fruits of their numerous crops. Pachamama's Mother Earth, we call her Gaia. Funny, ironically enough, we went to the botanical gardens down in Colombia, and they mentioned all of her names, and it was like, I knew Pachamama because of this game, and I think there was another game that had her in it, and of course I know Gaia because that's the name I'm more readily recognizable, right? So your components, diversity pawns, your score markers, different characters, and then the 2 automa meeples. These are the things you're trying to find. So quinoa, corn, chili, cocoa leaf, sweet potatoes, then the different types of dirt. This is the big thing, is this dial. That's like the big unique feature with this is trying to figure out, like, how do you randomize? How do you make sure you're actually finding it and vice versa? I guess you could just put a whole bunch of tiles down, flip the tiles over, and whatever you find. But this actually, each one of these is the puzzle to solve what's out here. So I think that's very unique in the way it does. Attention, from this point through the end of setup, no one is allowed to see the front of the scenario disc, only the back. So very important. Thick pages. I was like, do I have 2 very thick pages? I do have to do the same comment that I mentioned before. That's too big. Stop doing that. It doesn't need to be the size of the box. There we go. There's my pet peeve. Liege of Games can use that on his next video. Playing the game, exploring, movement, discovery, or you can take a divine action, make offerings. Comprehending Pachamama, so that's understanding the pattern, I guess. And then the end of the game is triggered when you place the final terrain tile. And then you have, I mean, that's it. That was to teach you how to play the game was 1, 2, 3 pages. And then you have an example. And then solo mode. I wonder if this can be added to a multiplayer. One thing that we do like is in 2-player games, if you can add the solo mode to a 2-player game. Nomadic fictitious Automa people are also roaming these unknown territories in search for new lands and cultivate. Their extreme mobility is their greatest asset. You will need tenacity to gain the upper hand over these natural-born explorers. Important, the short scenario 25 spaces are incompatible with solo mode. It says set everything up for a 2-player game, so it looks like they've added specific changes to the game based on player count. So yeah, the Automa probably will not work with a 2-player game. Cooperative mode. Faced with the extraordinary exploration capabilities of the Automa people, you must all join forces if you are to hope to sufficiently expand your cultures. The Automa people benefit from every little move you make as they try to jointly gain the upper hand. Each time one of your moves a Quechua meeple, you could be shutting down your own access to new lands, to which the Automa people have rushed first. Okay, so you can play with the Automa. It's just a little bit different. It's a co-op instead of solo. Okay, so I like that. That gives us 2 different modes to play. Maybe we'll do 2 different gameplay videos, and then you got this is the whole thing for that, and then you got playing the game, how the game plays, and then end of game. The boxes below make it easy to explain the basic concepts. Okay, so then they just break it down as here's the simple way to play the game. Put the rulebook somewhere. I'll put it up there. Your scoreboard, progress boards for your different terrain tiles. You got that same art that was on the green ones on the back there. This is your board. So there's 2 boards. I guess like I said, there was a quick mode. And then a regular mode. Yeah, okay, so this is the quick mode. So this one you use this, and you don't need this extra board. Because see, your board's smaller over here. And then the other one is this way here. Oops, which is now upside down. Which is just a bigger board. All right. We'll go over that because that's probably the fun thing everyone's. One thing they did do is when they sent it to me, I don't know if they've done this for everybody, is they sent me one of the wood grit upgrade tokens. So I was confused why I got 1 wood upgrade token. My assumption is they wanted me to unbox this for you guys. So this is your number 1, which was your, what was it, grains or something. And you can see the thickness there. And then these are the upgraded tokens. Now the tiles also are upgraded in the wood upgrade pack, and it is substantially thicker. I like wood upgrade components. The thickness actually doesn't look like it's too much different than the regular game, but there's the comparison. I'd imagine on their website they're going to offer these as a as a pack that you could buy, which, like I said, would include these as an upgrade as well as the tiles, or they may do them as 2 separate upgrades. If they do as 2 separate upgrades, I might actually upgrade the tokens to the wood. I don't know if I'd upgrade the tiles to the wood. All right, so I'll just show you the rest of the tokens, or the resources, your crops. So they each in a different color, unique, has that same kind of theme going where you got like the lines. All right. The insert's good. Insert works. Insert does what it needs to do. So then these are your terrain tiles. You want to see your green terrain and your yellow terrain, and then directional arrows. I'm not sure what they do. Maybe that's where you're supposed to move, or where you score off of, or where it's located. Again, got to read the rules again. I think the last time I saw it was during the Kickstarter when Quackalope and so Jesse and Shiro, they did a playthrough. So that's that. Same thing, arrows, but same thickness as the other ones. Everything's the same thickness. They're in the same punch boards, of course. Oh no, these weren't in the punch board. So these, when they came, they were shrink wrapped, and they were like this. And that's not going to work from a storage perspective because things are going to slide around. So I found that they work just fine putting them like that. And then these are your upgraded bits. So these were all upgraded during the campaign to the screen printing, and I think a thicker. These I know were upgraded to thicker. I know these were added with screen printing. I don't remember what the initial thing for these were. Maybe they were supposed to be cardboard. But those are all your bits. I gotta put them back in a bag, so now this takes time. I have to figure out how to fill the time, because silence is kind of awkward. Uh-oh. Lost a leaf. There you go. All right, and then we got our, so each of our factions and their llamas. So you have a green, blue, tan, and yes, I said green when I picked up the blue, and white. So these are your player pieces. So all screen printed, all deluxeified. That was the other thing that that Liege of Games was upset about, was having screen printing on meeples and things, because of course there is a cost. I mean, there's a cost involved to do screen printing. I honestly don't know how much more it would be. I've seen in a factory it is all done by hand in most cases now. So that is somebody having to go there and do that as a job, meaning I would imagine a manufacturer is going to charge to have somebody do that. But it does adds to the game. I would say, you know, when it's a Kickstarter edition, I'm perfectly fine with it. But I kind of do agree that, okay, if it's not a Kickstarter edition, it's a, you know, retail edition, don't do that to keep the price, you know, lower. That way you don't have to pay for that extra that, you know, doesn't really make the gameplay any different, right? So here's the board. So it's got these doors that you open. And then as you're solving different things, you have these symbols down here. You'll move this to left and right. So like if we put in this one here. So the back is how you set up the board. And then you put this in here somehow. Do you have to take it apart each time? Oh, okay, yeah, so this screws in. All right, so you got to take it apart each time. All right, so we're learning, guys. All right, so you pop that out. And then you take this, and now we slide it in. Not sure what's supposed to be the top, what's supposed to be the bottom. It probably says... oops, I think I'm sliding in the wrong spot. I think it's the very back one. So there was a couple... There's actually two slots. There's a slot here, and there's a slot here. I don't know if that's intended or not. But when you set a certain pattern and you open the door that it tells you to open, you're going to see, like here, there's a little smiley face, or some symbol in there, right? And then same thing as if I slide this, right, then there's different symbols inside of there. So, yeah. Okay, yeah, the two slide makes sense because the other one is probably the gap for the slidey thing to spin around it. All right. So put this back together. Whoops. I'm wondering how long, you know, it's fun to have these neat little, I don't want to call them gimmick items, but it's nice to have these little inventive, intuitive, or innovative things. But it does make you wonder how durable some of this will be if you're pulling this little plastic thing in and out every time you have to put in one of your cards. And then these are the cards. So there's a whole bunch of cards. You know, there's some Kickstarter exclusive. There you go. So KS1, KS6. So you have these, and you have Kickstarter F. I don't know what Kickstarter F is, and these are letters A, B, C, D, E, F. So I'm not sure the difference between the number ones and the letter ones. So there's a difference. Don't know what. Maybe brown ones are the easy, and the tan ones are the easy, and the brown ones are the hard. Don't know. And then you notice on here there is a little inset here because there was a option to get a scratch pad, so you could kind of just keep track and write where things are when you're playing. So of course, this is a copy sent to us, so you know we didn't get the scratch pad. But again, they'll probably have it on their website, so that way you can get extra copies. All right, so everything goes back back in. Goes there. Goes there. Goes there. Lid goes there. All right, guys, that is Tiwanaku by Sit Down Games. If you'd like to, well, there went my brightness, and now it's back because I was so bright it washed out the screen, I guess. If you'd like to see us play this gameplay, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we go live. If you have experience with the game, let us know what your experience is. If you'd like to play the game, let us know that as well. But until next time, guys, peace.